Hello and assalamu alaikum. Good morning, afternoon, and evening, everyone. Welcome to EdWatch Studio. I am Fazis Abdur Khan, ESG trainer at EdWatch and Director Sustainability at Crow. Um, just a little bit about EdWatch. EdWatch is a critical skill development solution that focuses on digital transformation. And today's webinar is an important webinar of its nature, as we will be discussing ESG disclosures and its reporting requirements. Well, accurate, transparent information, actions taken have always been a need of every stakeholder. When I'm talking about the stakeholder, it means everyone who has interest in the business or directly or indirectly related to the business activities. Global warming, increased carbon footprints, changes in weathers have already struck, and now everyone is concerned about the future and sustainability of the business. So, can we have our presentation? Yeah. Yeah. So today's learning, we will be just look at what is the ESG reporting landscape. I will give a little bit snapshot of what the global ESG reporting standards are, and I will discuss turn by turn four major standards, which are so popular that most of the organizations globally they are using it as part and parcel or completely. Well, so next slide, please. As you know, that business performance is primarily measured in financial metrics. Till to date, we were just looking at what our revenues are, what our incomes are, what our expenses are. So now we will be talking about now onward on this webinar that what risks and returns are. If I will make it more precise, so I will be talking more about risks and opportunities from the business. Because when we are talking about ESG reporting, the whole ESG reporting, if I will say that there is one common thing in all the accounting frameworks. They are talking about what the risks are and what the opportunities are after having sustainable practices or adopting sustainability in your organization. So making the thing clear again that ESG reporting that enable every company to become more transparent, and this reporting will become a communication tool for everybody who is a skeptical observer that how the company is performing, is company is contributing towards economy, they are sincere in nature or what they are doing. Next slide, please. Well, if we see that after having a survey, there is 614 sustainability reporting requirements from over 80 countries. So is this possible that we as consultants or accountants or CFOs or CEOs, we all look in all these 614 sustainability reporting frameworks? Yes, the answer is no, we cannot, because it's a huge work. And precisely speaking, not every framework is applicable to my organization. If I am the CFO of one organization, not every framework is relevant to me. So we will look at it that how we will select one framework or two framework which is applicable to us during this webinar. Next slide, please. So some of the few names I'm sure that you have listened this somewhere, you Googled and these names comes in front of you and we are just confused that, okay, there is PRI, there is ISB, there is TCFD. So are these all accounting frameworks? No, the answer is no. All are not accounting frameworks, ESG reporting framework. So because I belong to a finance background, that's why I again and again I treat ESG as well as a accounting exercise. So these are not, no, the previous slide. So these are not the accounting frameworks. Some are principles, some are regulators, some are reporting frameworks, and they are ESG rating indices also. So whenever these things will come, I think the slide will help you out that you have to find out which one is the reporting framework and which one is the principle. Now, I will try to cover few of them which are very famous or applicable globally. So, next slide, please. Very important question. I'm sure everybody will be having this question in mind, that which reporting framework I have to use. I need answer of this. Well, we have few questions. If we will answer these questions, we can easily guess that which reporting framework is relevant to us. So first question is, what internal governance structure or extra reporting framework is required, which is connected to us? When I'm talking about governance structure, means that are there proper controls? Are there reporting framework is like reporting, you can say hierarchy is there, uh, controls are strong enough, and there is less risk involved. I would say in short that there is a strong risk management exercise being done in the organization. So it depends that it's a weaker or stronger, or you are somewhere in the middle. Then you have to guess that what ESG risks or opportunities you have to assess. Like if you are a textile organization, your risks and opportunities are different. Your supply chain is different. Naturally, disasters, like if there's a disruption in supply chain, or if your consumers' choices are changed, definitely you will face some kind of risks, and that will give you an opportunity to change your product face or to change the technology, and so on. And who are the key stakeholders? This is the most important thing in throughout the exercise of ESG reporting, that who are the stakeholders who are involved. This ESG report will be used by whom? Like it's your customer, it's your business customer, it's your supply chain partners, it's your regulator, government, or financial institutions, investors, lenders. So you have to be very much sure about, when you are planning that I'm going to start my ESG reporting, you have first to define your stakeholders. And after defining it, you will look at that, what are the interests of the stakeholders. Like they want consistent revenue, they want good returns, or the customer, if I will say, they are becoming more environmental friendly now. They are looking for recycled products, they are looking for something which is making less damages. So turn by turn we will do these questions to ourselves, and we can reach that what we need. Can we have the next slide, please? I'm just giving you one example here. These are pillars, three pillars. ESG, I didn't define in the beginning. ESG stands for environment, social governance. I assume everybody know this because this is a buzzword nowadays. And if we look at under environment, social, and governance, there are further elements which we have to look at. Like environment, we are looking at climate change, natural capital, pollution, waste, packages, socially, how you are managing your human capital, how you are contributing, and governance. I just talked right a few minutes before that. How is the board performance? What is the pay involved? How they are accountable? How much transparent they are? So look at this and just think that if you are in a beverages company, what elements are important for you, or topics which you think that you are going to disclose in your ESG reporting. So for Coca-Cola, I just took the example. Definitely under environment pillar, it will be its carbon footprint, its broader carbon footprint, how they are packaging, and how the material and wastage is done. Their health and safety, and opportunity which arises if they add some kind of nutritional value to their drinks or beverages. They can change their product. They become socially committed towards the people that we care about it. So next slide, please. Well, very important thing, why this exercise, why I should do this exercise. Is there any requirement, or is there any liability? Yeah, a few days back I put a question on this event page, that what internal benefits an organization can have. I really need answer from you guys. If you can type it during the webinar or at the end of the webinar in the chat, that what internal benefits any organization can have if the organization will go for ESG reporting. Before that, there is an organization which you can see on the screen, International Organization of Securities Commission, IOSCO. They are global standard setters for security sectors, and they are managing almost 95% of world security market. And their purpose is to um, protect investors' interest, make market more efficient, mitigate all kind of risks involved related to sustainability, climate change, and which is relevant to regulatory risks. So this organization in July 2021 has issued a letter that we are going to adopt this exercise for all our securities and exchange commissions, that all the companies which are listed with them, they have to do ESG or sustainability reporting. And they are advocating and they are working in collaboration with IFRS Foundation. I am pretty sure that we all know what IFRS is because we are using accounting standards for so long. International Foundation Financial Reporting Standards Board. So they are working on sustainability standards. They are making or designing the standards which will be used globally, which I will discuss in next slides. So can I have the next slide, please? Yeah. So this is the framework, or this is the picture. I started with that 614 accounting reporting frameworks, ESG reporting frameworks. So this is what has been finalized. Let's discuss by one. You have seen that there are two organizations on your right side, SASB, IR, they consolidate in VRF, CDP, which is established by CDSB. I will tell you about all this just now. They have been consolidated to IFRS. IFRS has created one board, which is ISSB, International Sustainability Standard Board, and they are using the work of TCFD and GRI. This is just, I read this slide. I will just tell you what these things are. So SASB, which is Sustainability Accounting Standard Board. They are working, not now, they are not new to this thing, sustainability reporting. So they have reporting standard, which is series of metrics that what your targets can be, what metrics you should involve. And these metrics are categorized by sectors. So they have covered 11 sectors, and under the 11 sectors, they have 77 industries. So I would say they make the life very easy, and they make predetermined financial materiality topics, which any industry or sector which is definitely covered by them, they can have. So if an organization have no idea where to start with, SASB is the starting point for them. IR is from IIRC, that is Integrated Reporting Council. So this is an integrated reporting framework. They are principle based. So you will not find any kind of metrics there. They just define the principles, and under the principles, they give you guidelines that how you have to do the integrated reporting of financials and sustainability impacts. So they have combined into value reporting foundation. So you can imagine that one standard which is giving you metrics and one standard which is giving you principles. When you combine this, that combination will give you a good product to have a guideline that how you have to do your ESG reporting. Other side of the slide, that CDP, that is Climate Disclosure Project. This is totally different from these two standards. They are questionnaire based. So they focused on three things: climate change, water security, and forest. So under these three categories, they have questionnaire, and questionnaire has some you can say eligibility criteria or calculation criteria. Based on those answers, a company can be categorized from A through F. So you can imagine that if a company is answering that questionnaire And after answering the questionnaire, CDP is giving the category of A. Definitely, it's a big motivator for them to publish that and to tell to the people and their stakeholder that we are responsible business. So moving on now, because every no, I need the previous slide, I'm sorry. So because now there is a big gap that we need, just like IFRS, like GAAP, like accounting standards, we need standardized global standards which can be applicable through all the jurisdictions. Keeping that thing in mind, IFRS at COP26, that was a conference, they created one board, that is ISSB. And ISSB is not creating anything new. They are using the work of these reporting standards, and they have come up with two standards. One is journal reporting standard, and the other one is climate related reporting standard. Both are under discussion. They have taken the public feedback. The drafts are almost finalized. They have made lots of amendments. And we are hoping that by the end of second quarter, we will be having these two standards in front of us. And we will be having the guidance also how to use it. So these are the standards which we'll be using globally. And I'm expecting that Securities and Exchange Commission of every country who is falling under IOSCO, they will ask them to start applying. TCFD and GRI, that is actually our showstopper, so I will discuss in a little while. So I think we got the idea why this ISSB is so important and what is the relation of these things. So now we are just waiting of ISSB, but ISSB has given some kind of the guidance that how you have to use your ESG reporting until we will publish our standards. So can I have the next slide, please? So how it fits? You can see that for our investors and capital market participation, they need true and fair picture of company performance. Yeah. And based on that, the shareholders are valuing our shares, or our market is running. So this is something, and decisions are taken. So likewise, ISSB will be publishing, actually he start publishing IFRS disclosure standards. They will, under that, sustainability disclosures will be there, and that will become integrated under the integrated reporting, the financial statements and sustainability disclosures. This will become usable for investors and other capital market participants. Can I have next slide, please? So, as I mentioned that GRI and TCFD I'm going to discuss now. Before that, I want to share one thing before that to you, that is ISSB has an objective, which I shared, that they need a global baseline standards, and they are meeting the needs of the investors, and capital market will use it. So how they are going to prepare it, how they are going to implement it: evaluate your internal system, sustainability reporting, related risk and opportunities will be considered. And then before ISSB disclosures or standards will be there, they ask us to start using SASB, which I just told you, CDSB framework, that is CDP questionnaire, and TCFD recommendations. So in their latest meetings, they have decided that till we will not disclose it, we will give a guideline to the organizations who are willing or who are already doing the sustainability reporting. So these three standards, SASB, TCFD, and GRI, are the most important, or I would say most famous standards, reporting standards nowadays globally. So I'll start with GRI. I'm expecting that we have more participants from Pakistan, so I will just give you an idea that Al Ghazi Tractor, Atlas Honda, Atak Refinery, Crescent Steel, ICI Pakistan, Forgy Fertilizers, and lots more to name, they are using GRI reporting framework. So A little bit about that, what is inside GRI? Standards, and these are the standards which are divided into four series, which you can see on the screen also. Universal has again three parts: foundation, journal disclosure, and management approach. And then they have topical, which is economical, economic, environmental, and social. So, moving to what is in the universal standard. So, as you see that by definition, it is applicable to all organizations. Like organization cannot choose that I will not follow this standard. I will jump to social or environmental. So they have to first start their reporting using the universal standards. Universal standard is actually based on 10 principles. I am not going to tell all these 10 principles because we need a separate session to understand how to use GRI standards. So the most important thing is, out of those 10 reporting principles, four are the one which is defining the report, sustainability report. The first thing is stakeholder engagement. So, this is the most important thing, that when you are doing this ESG reporting exercise, you have to involve all the relevant stakeholders or users. You are expecting that, okay, these are the users of our report. So, you have to involve, you have to take them their feedback, and you have to understand their requirement. Then sustainability context, that what you are going to do, what's your plans are, what's your targets are. Then how you think that this topic or this disclosure is material for you, or I will look it into uh, mm, design, or I will change my process, or I will change my supplier. So this all you will decide that what is material to your organization. And completeness. The rest six are just like other accounting standards, that completeness, relevance, transparency, and so on and so on. So this is our first foundation standard. Then is journal disclosure. So journal disclosure is all about the organization, what your organization is, what they are producing, how they are producing, where they are, how many employees. So the maximum information about the organization is under this journal disclosures. And then definitely management disclosure, that is management approach. If you think that this specific topic is material to your organization and you are going to report it in your ESG reporting, you need the management approach about that topic, that what the strategy of the management is, how they are going to manage this specific risk. So there should be a logic behind that. If something is important for the organization, the management should give its approach, that how they are going to do it and what steps they are going to do, what their strategy are. And the next thing is topical. I think by the name you understand economic, environment, and social. They are discussing turn by turn, and you can select from their disclosures that what is relevant to you and what is applicable to your organization. So, can we have next slide, please? TCFD. No. So it's Task Force on Climate Related Financial Disclosure. As I mentioned you, ISSB has used a lot of work from TCFD. This is the abbreviation. Actually, it's Task Force on Climate Related Financial Disclosure. I am sure by the name you can see that this is something which related to climate, and those climate related disclosures you have to define in financial terms, right? So this you can see from the name. But before moving forward, I want to tell you one thing. GRI is focusing on inside out perspective. What is the inside out perspective? That what your organization processes and production is impacting outside environment, economy, society. But TCFD flipped it. So TCFD is focusing on majorly, I'm not saying all, majorly it's focusing that how the environment, economy, and society is impacting my business. So you have to disclose it into financial terms. But if we will see, let's take example of, can I have the next slide, please? So Before moving forward, I will just tell you there are four major elements involved in TCFD. First is governance, strategy, risk management, metrics, and targets. So, under all these four factors or elements, they have altogether 11 recommendations. So 11 recommendations are defined. So they have given a proper guideline that how you have to use TCFD. Before moving to the next slide, I want to share one thing that if an industry has lots of carbon emission, right? I just said that TCFD will just think that how environment is impacting, but its own operations are also impacting outside world. How? That if an organization have high carbon emission, definitely it will increase the carbon pricing, and ultimately it will impact its financials. It will become riskier, it will become costly for the organization. So we have to look at actually two things, that how the organization processes are impacting outside, so one side of material impact, and how the outside world is impacting my business. This is actually, I'm giving you a little bit taster of double materiality. Okay, so double materiality is actually just flip of two, that how your business are impacting outside and how outside is impacting your business. So you have to go through with this double materiality. So moving forward, next slide please. Okay, so these are the 11 disclosures under TCFT. If you see that every recommendation is starting by describe, disclose and describe. So they are more like that. Okay, what the scenario is, you have to disclose it and describe that what you are doing. Um, right now, if I will see that. Mm, that that if we are expecting that by 2030 we will be reaching to 1.5 degrees Celsius of the climate temperature. That's why this all exercise and this all sustainability and SDGs and these things are there, and people are working, governments are working, that we have to control this temperature, we have to address the global warming. So if, when I'm talking about TCFD asks you that, okay, think that if the temperature will reach 1.5 degree, or it will reach to 2 degree, or God forbid it reach to 4, and so on. So what your strategy will be, how you will cope with, how you will make your organization business resilient to this. So they want that under different scenarios. If you see, here is the word scenario analysis under risk management. Probably risk management, yeah, no, under the strategy. So under TCFD, they ask you that define different scenarios related to the temperature, and then define that what your strategies will be, and then disclose it, that okay, if this thing happened, this is our strategy, governance is working like this, we will manage the risk like this, our metrics and targets will be this. So what do you think that after having the scenario analysis exercise, that under different temperatures I will manage my business in this way, you will just disclose which is you think more probable or more relevant to your organization. So this is something I just tried to cover a big thing in such a small time. So TCFD is more with climate related. It focuses on the impact of business and strategy, and it really look to understand that what does it mean for your core business, what does it mean for your product, and what does it mean for your operations. So you have to be very clear about that, how you will make yourself resilient in case of any change by climate. Should we move forward? Move next slide. SASB. I have given you already a little bit idea about what SASB is. There are 77, they are covered 77 industries under 11 sectors. So they have predefined materiality topics under all these 77 industries. If somebody want to start exercise, they will just go look into it and look at that what their recommendation is or what they are saying, and then they will compare it with their own organization, and they can decide the material topics. Can we have the next slide, please? So SASB standard is actually focusing on more on the investors, and according to them, their materiality is that what is, if you skip or omit, it will be reasonably expected to influence investment decisions, lending decisions, or users making the decisions on the basis of these assessments. So SASB is defining it, and they have a particular users for their standards. Can we have the next slide, please? This is one thing I really wanted to share with you, that I am again and again I'm telling you that they have material topics, they have defined it. So this materiality map is available on the website of SASB. If you just go there and you check that what material topics or risk can be for my organization, you can easily get that guidance. Next slide, please. SDGs. I have a few discussions with some of my peers that SDGs are the reporting framework. So because they are defining the goals, they are giving the reporting requirements and blah, blah, blah. No, no, no. It's not the reporting framework. It is helping you to design your accounting reporting framework, because it's giving you targets, it's giving you metrics. So this is actually established in 2015 by UN, and they are supposed to meet all their 17 targets, which you can see on the screen. They are supposed to meet all these targets by 2030 globally, through all of us, through the organization, governments, and expected to meet all these 17 targets. And under the 17 goals, sorry, targets, I'm sorry, I used the wrong word. So under the 17 goals, they have 169 targets defined, that how you have to make, like, for example, one, no poverty, how you have to achieve that. So they defined the targets. If they are talking about clean water, they define the targets. So these are the principles actually. And for using the SDG, they are uh, very much aligned with GRI, integrated reporting, and TCFD. So if we decided to or at our website, we decided to disclose that, okay, we are going to achieve goal number 7, 16, 11. Yeah. So this is done. Now you have to go into the reporting framework, and you have to see that these metrics and targets which you have defined, how you have to achieve, what strategies you have to make, and how you have to report them. So this is your internal assessment, and then you will adopt a reporting framework to disclose this or to achieve these goals. Can I have next slide, please? So after having little bit taster of these famous ESG reporting frameworks, I am just giving you one idea that how the ESG reporting strategy works. So can I have next slide, please? So this one is a roadmap, I would say, or the major steps that you have to carry out your materiality assessment based on if you want to get guidance from any reporting framework, or you can sit and discuss with your stakeholders, evaluate internally what is material for you, and you will carry out that materiality assessment exercise. After establishing, you will create the metrics that what you are going to do, and you will set the targets that, okay, if I have decided that, like most of the organizations, they have decided that we will achieve net zero by 2050 or 2030. So this is metric, and now you will plan the goal that, okay, I will every year I will try to reduce my carbon emission by 15%, 10%. So this is, you are making the targets. And then you will establish internal process to capture the report on KPIs, then your strategy, and you will come up with your disclosure, definitely what you are doing, what steps you have done, sustainability initiatives. Based on those initiatives or actions, how much you have controlled your risks related to climate, to product, to your, um, you can say, employee turnover, or many, many things. You just see there are many things. Next slide, please. So, reporting landscape. I have already told you a little bit about SASP, GRI, integrated reporting, and TCFT, ISSB. So you get idea of these reporting landscapes, reporting framework. There are further. Can I have next slide, please? The most important thing for adding this slide is that every reporting framework has a primary purpose. Either they are addressing climate, either they are addressing capital allocation, or they are becoming a global baseline for sustainability reporting like ISSB, or they are giving you targets or goals. So every reporting framework or principle has some basic primary purpose, and there are topics covered under that. Some are just covering E and S. Some are just covering E, environment. Some are covering from environment only water, forest, and climate. So there are topics covered under that. And these are industry specific. Can I have the next slide, please? I want to show one thing. So if you look at the first one, that is UN Principle for Responsible Investment, PRI, this is for financial institutions. They have principles, they have 6 principles for responsible investments, and they are actually addressing investors, stakeholders, listed companies, and the stakeholders who are seeking access to capital market or stock markets. So this is applicable more on investment market. And can I have the previous slide, please? Yeah. And if we look at, suppose, the second last one, I will just give you 1 second to look at it. So, second last one is climate related. So, they are covering only water, forest, and climate change. And their intended users are stakeholders, investors who are going to invest in that projects, which is to address the water problem, forest problem, or climate change. So, every accounting reporting framework has specific intended user. So before deciding that which reporting framework is applicable to you, you have to define that what your intended users or audience are. Can I have the next slide, please? Yes, moving on. Well, I was just, when I was planning this webinar, I was thinking that, okay, I will come and I will just talk about the reporting frameworks, this. I think I should come up with some successful case study that some company, any company who has done this ESG reporting, and what changes that organization had. So I just chose Levi's. Can I have the next slide, please? So it's actually making one thing very much clear, which I just skipped while I was discussing the frameworks. Any organization can choose one reporting framework to cover its all ESG reporting, or they can choose it different reporting frameworks to cover different topics. So Levi's, if you look at it, they have used GRI, they have used TCFT, they have used SASB. Then for SASB, they have used e-commerce standards, multi-line retailers, distributors standards, metrics. So you have to decide, you have this opportunity to decide until there will be any global baseline to adopt some global standards. You have this authority to decide that what reporting framework you are going to use. So Levi's strategy is based on climate, consumption, and community. So indirectly it's related to planet, people, and prosperity. So they are looking at that how their business is impacting climate, how they are doing their consumptions, and how they are serving to the community. So can we have next slide? After doing this whole exercise, and they have very comprehensive sustainability reporting, what they have achieved at CDP, which I mentioned you, that they are questionnaires. You will just answer those questionnaire. They will evaluate you, and based on that questionnaire, you will be assigned A through G grade. So Levi's got A. They are get lots of further rankings. They are named in 2021 Fortune. Change the word. They become the third in sustainability index. For April company, they become two. And for human rights, they got 100 points. So all of these things, they are disclosing on their websites, but having all this extensive exercise of reporting, gathering the data, evaluating it, and then disclosing it, and transforming their businesses, transforming their processes, that how they will minimize their bad effect to the climate, to the society. So after having this, their CEO was giving an interview, and he was saying that their brand has get lots of benefit after getting all these rankings and after doing this sustainability reporting exercise. So they got lots of better repute, their brand equity improve, their brand value is improved, their share values are improved, so lots of benefits they took. So this was one case study which I bring. There are lots case studies there. And there is one thing which we have to avoid is greenwashing. Greenwashing is something that don't disclose what you are not doing. Don't claim something which you are not doing. So that is greenwashing. If you are doing greenwashing, then it will have adverse effects. So you have to be very transparent. You have to be very true. You have to disclose what you are doing. So no makeup that, okay, we will do it later. Or greenwashing is giving uh, lots of organization getting penalized, and there's lots of litigation who are claiming things and they are doing actually greenwashing, and it's under the code for litigation. So sustainability has good feedback, they have benefits, but if you are using it wrong, you will get penalized or you will get bad impact on your brand. So that's all from my side. I hope that I tried to cover a little bit what was important, and there is a time limitation. That's why we cannot go so much detail. Um, Mr. Host, do we have any question or anything? And if it's so much clear to everybody, then fine. So we have a question here. What are the industries companies will be most impacted by these standards? And who would be the most relevant for regulators? What are the industries and companies the most impacted by these? Well, see, if I will tell you one name, then it's the energy sector, because they are most polluted sector. So definitely regulators are of the view that they have to remove the pollution, they have to control the greenhouse gases emission, they have to control the global warming. So for that, one thing is energy sector. If I talk more about then financial sector, because if you are providing the investments for the projects which are bad to the climate, then you are promoting it. So yeah, regulators has more pressure on financial sectors, for energy sectors. And there are lots of opportunities also. Lots of energy sector, they are now transforming into renewable energies. So I told you about that when you are doing this ESG reporting exercise, you are not only talking about risk, you are talking about the opportunity also, that okay, if this is bad, how I will transform my business. I hope I addressed the question. Any other question we have? Thank you, Huma. We can spend another 2, 3, 4 minutes. Um, Mr. Host, if we have any question, yeah, mining, yes. Lots of standards are there. Mining is under scrutiny. Their supply chain, most importantly, the human right there. So mining is definitely under scrutiny. And when we're talking about the S of ESG, then mining has to tell that how they are taking care of these human rights, how what's the age of the people working there, how they are taking care of their health, what are the strategy, how what's curing thing there. So this is one fact thing. So yeah, mining is something which is very much relevant to ESG. Next we have done. That's all. So, because we have a limited time for this session, feel free to send your queries. I will try to respond to the maximum. We cannot cover, it's such a big thing. What is the role of environmental consultant in ESG reporting? Said Yasir, big role. Because today's webinar was only to cover the reporting session. If we talk about that how we are going to control global warming, the first thing come E, environment. Under E, you have to calculate that what carbon emissions are there, how it is making the globe warm. So yes, environmental consultants will work with financial consultants. And mm, if we talk about ESG team, so it's a combination of lots of people, the environmental consultant, financial consultants, social consultants, who are giving their expertise to make this reporting perfect. So without environmental consultants, ESG reporting is, I would say, incomplete for the organizations who are majorly impacted by climate change. Please confirm that we start with GRI 101 journal standard, then go to sector standard, textile, or do we just report GRI 101? So, universal standard, if you are planning to use GRI as your reporting standard, journal standards are universal standards are more like informative standards. You have to define yourself. After that, what you are doing to address climate, to address society, you have to go to the topical ones. So universal standards are applicable for every organization who decided to opt GRI. Anything else? Do we have any other question? So it's things are not very complicated. You just have to sit, discuss with your stakeholders what their needs are, and based on their needs, you have to choose the reporting standard which is relevant to you. Mr. Host, do we have any question or that's it? Well, don't feel hesitant to reach out, Edwatch or me. So you have any query, we are happy to answer. And I hope that this session was informative and you get something. The takeaway should be something. I really want that this your 1 hour paid show. And thank you very much for attending. Allah Hafiz.